really great question again. Our question is, why and how do I worship?
Amazing grace, how
yeah, you can stop now. I think I know what you were trying to do. You were thinking about how people worship. Some people worship through song and some people worship... Was that dancing?
Dancing.
Yes, it was obviously dancing. I could tell that.
Rude.
Yeah, so we're going to think a little bit more about how people worship and why people worship and have some fun and games and have a good time together. So let's do it.
Warm up.
Okay, we have a game for you, and this is one of my favourites.
It is one of your favourites.
Yes, it's called the Bean Game. Okay,
I've been waiting for this one.
So stand up if you can and join in. So I'm going to quickly go through the different types of beans with the actions that go with them.
Oh, good.
Okay, so we've got a runner bean, where you can run on the spot. Then we've got jumping bean, where obviously you jump. Okay, then we've got broad bean.
Oh, broad
So you've got to be as wide as you possibly can. And then we've got Mexican bean. Yes, and then we've got French bean. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Yes. Okay, you got it?
Yes.
Good, fantastic. Okay, here we go. Runner bean. Broad bean. Runner bean. Mexican bean.
Arriba.
Well done. French bean.
Ooh la la.
Runner bean. Jumping bean. Runner bean. Jumping bean. French bean.
Ooh la la.
Mexican bean.
Arriba.
Running bean. Jumping bean. Broad bean. Running bean. Broad bean. Mexican bean. French bean.
Ooh la la.
Well, you definitely have done better than Tabz, but well done. You gave it a
Ooh
good
la
go.
la.
Ref's whistle.
Our ref's whistle question today to start us off is, what is important to you? Perhaps it's a sports team, a person, a possession, a belief or value. Whatever you first think of, tell that to the people around you. Share that with each other, and then we'll be back in a moment. So, Emily, Tabz, what is important to you?
I would say, for me, my family are really
Fair enough.
important.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all over the world, but all here in my heart.
Aww, that's lovely. What
I
about
think that's pretty good. I'm gonna go a bit more specific as well. Like my family's pretty awesome, but I think my highlights of my most important person is probably you, Hettie.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's lovely. So, hopefully, yours might have been slightly less soppy.
We should probably move on to something a bit more.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Coach's tactics.
So, today we are thinking about worship. Worship means to give worth to something that's incredibly important to someone. People give worth to all sorts of things. Sports teams, games consoles, cars, celebrities, all sorts of things. But for Christians, worship is different than giving worth to these things that come and go. Your sports team might be doing amazing one season, and you might keep talking about how brilliantly they're doing, and then they might be doing really badly next season, and you might be less enthusiastic about them. But Christians worship God, who is constant and always good and always worth worshipping. So for Christians, worship is what you do that shows God that you know how amazing He is and what He has done. Worship is active. This can be shown by what we say, what we do, and how we live our lives. We can show God how much we love Him and show others how incredible He is by the way we treat people, the kind words we say, how we help and look after those who need it, and many more ways. We can give God worth by using our time to read the Bible and pray, instead of doing something else. We can worship God by thanking Him for who He is and what He's done. As we're taking a walk, we can thank God for His creation, for the animals we see, the trees, the flowers, the beauty. We can thank God throughout the day, for those we love, for the food we have to eat, for our favourite games and toys, that we have clothes to keep us warm and the opportunity to learn. There are loads of things that we can thank God for, and we can do it whenever, wherever. Christians worship God on their own, like some of the ways above might be, and together with other Christians. One of the most well-known ways that Christians worship God is through music and singing to, for, and about Him. There are all sorts of different styles of worship music: rap, rock, pop, more classical. Worship music could be played on a piano or an organ, or a full band with drums and guitars, or even DJ decks. Name a style of music or an instrument and someone has probably used it to worship God. A lot of Christians love to sing when they worship God. Sing words about how awesome God is and what He has done. Use their mouths and bodies to give Him worth. Some people sing their own songs. Most people sing songs that others have written, hundreds of years ago or recently. There are loads of amazing songs that are full of worship to God, with lyrics like, "You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are." When Christians sing to God, the point is that they should mean what they are singing, not just sing words like in a choir. It's not important how good someone is at singing, it's important that they mean it.
VAR.
The way I like to worship is I listen to the songs on Sunday morning and I join in. My favourite is The Blessing because I like how people join in with it, and I also sometimes read the Bible.
Halftime challenge.
So your halftime game is to roll a dice and do as many of the actions associated with that number as you can in 10 seconds. So you can choose an action to go with each number on a dice. Dice is 1 to 6. Or you could use these. Number 1 perhaps could be star jumps. Number 2 could be sit-ups. Number 3 could be a plank. Number 4 could be sprint on the spot. Number 5 could be hold a squat. Number 6 could be jumping. You can use those or choose your own. And if you don't have a dice, there are apps or websites that can let you roll a virtual dice. So have a go. Roll a dice and do as many of the actions as you can in 10 seconds. So if it's a 1 and you've chosen sprinting, you will sprint for 10 seconds. You could work with others and have a little bit of fun to see who can do the most. Have a go.
Ref's whistle.
Okay, our second ref's whistle question is, what would you do if the Queen was coming to your house? What would you maybe prepare for her coming? What would you do when she's there? Have a little think. What would you do about that? What would you do if the Queen was coming to your house?
Coach's tactics.
If the Queen was coming to my house, I would give it the best clean ever. I'd make sure the garden looked good, I'd get some fancy drinks and loads of nice snacks, or I'd cook her my best meal. You'd give your best, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just say, oh well, I've got some half-eaten snacks and I haven't hoovered and she might have to sit on that pile of washing and climb over the toys to get there, but hey, it's fine. You just wouldn't do that. Now, Christians believe that God is the King of Kings, the King of everything and everyone. So surely in worshipping Him, we should give the best of the best, everything that we can. In the Bible, in a book called Mark chapter 12, verse 30, it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. When Christians worship, surely they should give God all their attention and worship Him with their hearts and their minds and their bodies and their mouths, with everything. This looks different for different people. For some Christians, they outwardly show what is happening inside. So if they're excited about what they're singing about, they might dance, or they might lift their hands in the air, or they might clap. Sometimes when you see people worshipping, they might be quite still and really be giving all their mind to thinking about what they're singing about. Other times, you might see a group of people worshipping and it might look like a concert where they're jumping around and having a great time. And some people might have their hands out in a really calm way, focusing all their attention on God. Others might show their passion with their voice and their body like a football supporter who is really excited. Worship is very personal, as well as something done with others. So let's spend a little bit of time personally or with others reflecting on this. I'd like you to listen to the lyrics of this very old hymn, Amazing Grace, so that you consider the meaning behind it to help you to understand that worship songs can have loads of feeling and meaning for the writer, as well as showing others what God has done. So this song, Amazing Grace, was written in 1772 by a guy called John Newton. John Newton was involved in the slave trade, using ships to transport slaves from parts of Africa to England, and he admitted to treating the slaves very poorly. One day aboard the ship there was a terrible storm and the ship had a hole in it and it was likely to sink. So John cried out to God, and some of the cargo moved and blocked up the hole, and the ship sailed on and they were saved. In this moment, John knew that God had saved him, and he started to change his ways and started to follow God. This was a gradual process where he stopped being involved in slavery, and in 1764 he actually became a priest so that he could teach others about God. He later fought alongside William Wilberforce to abolish the slave trade, and slavery became illegal in 1807, just before he died. What a big turnaround in his life. He wrote this song, Amazing Grace, while he was a priest, reflecting on what God had done for him throughout his life. Have a listen to the lyrics and see if you can understand why he wrote them.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares we have already come, was grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Your final whistle challenge is to spend a little bit of time personally or with others worshipping God. Your challenge is to see if you can think of words to describe God or things you are thankful for, starting at A and trying to get all the way to Z. So A might be amazing, B might be bees, C might be creative. You can do this yourself and say the words or write them down. Or if you're with others, you could take it in turns and see how many you can get. Don't worry if you can't think of a word for a letter. It's not a competition. It's a space to worship God, telling him who he is and what you're thankful for. So have a time of worship, and I'll see you next time. Bye!